Welcome back to Mini Mayhem. I'm Vox, and Star Season 4 continues with 2 brand new episodes. In this breakdown, we'll be covering Moon Remembers and Swimsuit. Of course, spoiler warning if you have not seen these episodes yet, watch those, then come back. Alright, let's dive in. Starting with Moon Remembers, we open up with Star, Moon, Marco, and River returning to the Kingdom of Muni. More specifically, New Monster Town, following the events of Escape from the Pie Folk. Star filling in Moon on the new status quo. We learn Moon's memory is slowly recovering. While not everything has completely returned to her, she does seem to remember a bit about her immediate family, her relationship with River, and the fragile politics of Muni. Marco remarking that Glosric said nothing but Glabgor for the last year raises an interesting question. Did Moon ever see Glosric mutter Glabgor's name during that period? If so, did she have any concern, or write it off as Glosric being caught in a strange mental state? Just something to think about. Anyways, Star informs her mother of the Monster Temple's process of restoration, going as far to say that Ludo's stench has been removed from the premise, provoking Moon to mock Ludo's moment of triumph. Turns out you're dead, which is of course what he said after delivering the final blow onto Toffee. I'm not trying to read far too much into anything here, but this is our second reference towards Toffee since the season began, and this is our 3rd episode in. Should this continue, I think we have a case towards the show's narrative reminding us of Toffee more and more as a way to prepare us for his return. I mean, of all things Moon could have referenced in relation to Ludo, she chose that specific instance. This also makes me question if she remembers the rather intimate and heartbreaking moment she shared with Ludo in Star Crushed, learning about Ludo's upbringing and addressing that Dennis is concerned for Ludo, that he misses his big brother. Moon's reaction here just seemed a bit more distasteful for someone she knows has been through a lot and whose head has been in a dark place. Wanting the audience to be reminded of Toffee feels like the biggest reason to address him here and now. Actually, on the topic of Toffee, it's also peculiar that out of all the statues Moon could have drawn attention towards, she chose the one that looks dangerously close to a Septarian Toffee species. Some details do vary, such as the snout, but overall, there's an uncanny resemblance to the likes of Rasicor or Seth. We also get some more allusion towards Meteora retaining her memories in some capacity. Eclipsa has a reunion with Moon, in which Meteora begins to cry upon seeing Moon. Eclipsa writes this off as a dirty diaper situation, but considering these waterworks come after Eclipsa questioning Moon and her recollection of events, I'm not buying it. I don't think Meteora would have fond memories of what Moon did to her either. There's also another interesting factor about Meteora that I'll touch a bit later on in this breakdown. Star's attempt to distract Moon from learning about Glabgor's current status leads to the return of Eclipsa's guitar that she strung together out of a skeleton in Total Eclipse of the Moon, where we get to learn Moon can play classical and electric guitar. Nice! And River finally takes a shower, washing away the bugs and dirt he's gathered since the events prior to the Butterfly Follies. When Moon comes face to face with the crystallized Glabgor, she refers to him as the Monster King, which is interesting as Eclipsa only refers to Glabgor in the Book of Spells as the Prince of Darkness, meaning prior to Glabgor's downfall, his father must have been slain, leaving Glabgor to be crowned as king, though the title Monster King infers he has domain over the general population of monsters, but not rebel factions such as those led by Cephas of Tarsus. It's also possible Glabgor could have just been granted this title after he was wed by Eclipsa, if she was still considered Queen of Muni during this time. It also adds greater detail as to why Eclipsa's moniker is Queen of Darkness, because Glabgor was Prince of Darkness. She just inherited that title. Knowing Eclipsa, she probably finds it pretty cool. I'm very interested in learning more about Glabgor, as we only got a few details in the Book of Spells, from Eclipsa's perspective no less. I truly don't believe he's evil, as he does want unity between monsters and humans, but there's clearly more to the story the Book of Spells has left out. Moving on, this detail is very intriguing and very alarming. During dinner, Meteora grabs Glosric and puts his head into her mouth, as if he's a pacifier or a toy, to which Glosric says, "Whoa, someone's teeth grew in fast." This stuck out to me, as recently I had a theory on Meteora's memories, that she knows more in her current state than she leads on, and that she could age at a rapid pace when compared to before. That she only regressed into the form of a baby due to being a size shifter like her father and the youth she sucked out of the students at St. Olga's. More or less, she could be going through extreme puberty. Well, with Glosric's line of dialogue, I think we're actually onto something. Seriously, watch out for Meteora. That baby can't be trusted. Moon actually remarks that Star also used to treat Glosric Glossaryck the same way as a toddler, and to use diapers as a crown. Marco attempts to playfully ridicule Star for this action, which causes her to remark, "At least I didn't wear a meat blanket for a month," referring to Marco's short-lived cape in the beginning of Season 3 that ended up just being River's blanket for feasting. Callbacks. This episode concludes on a rather downer note. Moon and River decide to part ways from the Kingdom of Muni. Moon doesn't trust Eclipsa. She doesn't agree with Star's decision to hand over the kingdom to her. That being said, we have to remember Moon hasn't recovered all of her memory yet. It's hard to expect her to trust Eclipsa if everything they've been through is a blur. Even then, the sight of Globgor himself may have given Moon an uneasy feeling. One where Globgor's awakening may bring chaos and destruction, or that Moon's bigotry towards monsters, while it may have began to shift during Season 3, just seeing Globgor began to set back all of that. Look, if you were already suspecting of Eclipsa, you're probably going to side with Moon. If you think Eclipsa is being genuine in her actions and intentions, then you're probably going to disagree with Moon. Where things stand at the moment, there really is no right answer. You're not wrong if you support Eclipsa, and you're not wrong if you support Moon. But that brings Moon Remembers to a close. Let's move on to Swimsuit. Star and Marco begin to prepare their beach day, and Tom's concerned on his status in Star and Marco's lives, as he's not present in said picture, planting the seeds for what may feel like an inevitable breakup between the two. But ho, Lava Lake Beach awaits us. A great thing about this episode is that a bulk of Eclipsa's spells actually stems from her chapter in the Book of Spells. If you read this book and her chapter when it released, you should recognize a lot of Eclipsa's moves against Rhombulus here. The amalgamation of spells used to introduce Rhombulus in this episode's premise doesn't seem to be present in the Book of Spells, but it's very similar to the visual illusions, circumstances, and trances that Ludo and Marco were under after reading Eclipsa's chapter in The Hard Way and Page Turner, though this time with various insects, demons, and limbs floating around Rhombulus. Gnarly. Glossaryck informs Eclipsa, "I don't work for you," which leads to a pretty big question. Does Glossaryck serve anyone at this point? You can argue he still mentors Star in a very indirect manner, but with the Book of Spells seemingly still destroyed at this point in the show, he's no longer tethered to its owner. We know in the Monster Mutant conflict, he doesn't have a side, so what will his role be in all of this? I'm thinking by the series finale, he'll probably reveal all of this was to guide Star to victory, even if it felt like minimal effort. Glossaryck also ends up in two places at once, something I believe he first saw in Page Turner, although his presence at the Bureaucracy of Magic was very unclear at the time. The spell Eclipsa uses to bind Romulus' snake arms together does stem from the Book of Spells. As she remarks, it's her Ouroboros spell, though in the book it claims the adversary is supposed to eat their own feet. But hey, snakes for hands? You gotta take that opportunity. Eclipsa reveals that once her and Globgor got together, he became a vegetarian, giving up the lifestyle of feasting on humans, and relinquishing his title of the Plucker of Limbs. Star gets caught in the crossfire between Eclipsa and Rhombulus, falling victim to the Hypno-Slumber spell. It's written that the spell will make your enemy sleepwalk away from you, which Star certainly does. The effects could last from a few minutes to all of eternity. Star definitely got off on the lucky side of things. Tom is hit with the low self-esteem nightmare dream spell, which is pretty self-explanatory. Rhombulus loses his left nipple demon, which seems to be gone for good, though Star should still have the right one he gifted her in the episode Crystal Clear. I wonder what role these two will actually play in the grand scheme of things. Unless you're just meant to be a quick gag, I can accept that. Eclipsa then uses the body swap spell on Rhombulus, which is pulled off flawlessly. It's a wordless spell intended to be used silently. Now, the book of spell elaborates that when in the body of your adversary, you can't feel any of their pain. So Eclipsa flying against the wall and Rhombulus' body didn't faze her, but he may have some back pain in the morning. I actually wonder if we'll see the spell again. It's a pretty useful trick, one that Star herself may end up using. I'm just saying, we don't know what could happen. Now, Eclipsa has a big moment of development that I just really want to touch on. If you're still suspectful of Eclipsa, she decided to go Star's way, not her own way. For once, Eclipsa wasn't selfish. As she said in Stranger Danger, all of those years ago, she did what she had to do for herself. she was still in that mindset until this very moment. While she may relapse, in this very moment, she shows a willingness to change, to better herself, to gain the trust of the populace of Muni, and I think that speaks volumes. Now, when Rhombulus is on his way out, he refers to Eclipsa as a Mumin Eater, likely confusing her once more for Bulbipsa, the Baby Eater, as he did in Stranger Danger and the Butterfly Trap. Considering we know Globgor used to eat humans, it now finally makes sense that Rhombulus would make this mistake. Now, there actually is a way for Eclipsa to liberate Globgor without the assistance of Rhombulus, with two things planted within the Book of Spells. Stay tuned because we will talk about this soon. As the episode wraps up, it seems as if Monkey is here to stay. We don't know if Fulduke is staying in the Monster Temple at this time, as a part of Eclipsa adopting the Royal Guard and everyone else within that system. But hey, I'm down for more Monkey, and there you have it. Out of these two episodes, I honestly think I was feeling Swimsuit the most, just because it was pretty much an 8-minute action sequence, and I really miss the action sequences we used to get all the time in Star. This was a breath of fresh air, and what can I say? I'm a sucker for action. I get that in a lot of aspects, it didn't really progress the plot, but it's the final season. They clearly know in what direction they want to go in, so I'm fine with them flushing it out and taking their time, just so we can get episodes and moments like these. So far, I am very much enjoying Season 4, but Lava Lake Beach, oh, that's a can of worms to unfold, so be sure to be subscribed and hit notifications so you don't miss a breakdown and following discussion around that episode. But what do you guys think of these two segments? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for my own thoughts, you can find me as always at AllSharkVox. We're also on Instagram. Help the Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Links to everything in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable to never miss any great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. AllSharkVox out.